Shibuya against Juseni Dantas again. Look at this matchup, Pablo. We have Bloodmoon Ursaluna, the baby Bloodmoon Ursaluna, against Raging Bolt EX. Technically, both very, let's say, rogue decks. I haven't seen Raging Bolt in a minute, but
you're calling Raging Bolt a rogue deck? What?
It's a rogue pick. It has to be in this current meta, right? It's not something that is too popular.
I mean, we'd have to define rogue. I mean, like, for me, rogue is like something that's an unexpected strategy or something like on the newer side of the spectrum. A deck falling hard, I don't think that makes it, in popularity at least, doesn't make it a rogue deck, but we can agree to disagree as per usual, Juancho. Okay, the other side for sure, though, like that's, it's an archetype that has been popularized by some people online, yeah, Tim Danklin. However, even though it's popular, it hasn't done anything relevant, as far as I know. But maybe this is now its time to shine. I guess we'll find out.
Again, it is their time to shine here right now at LAIC. I mean, they get to play it on the stream, and I don't quite know much about this matchup, Pablo. I'm not going to lie. I'm not one to test the baby Bloodmoon Ursaluna, big Bloodmoon Ursaluna. I know exactly what that does, but the baby one, it's a little odd.
Yeah, I mean, it has a pretty powerful attack for sure, a very costly one as well. The Solrock Lunatone engine seems to have given it a bit of life because the Bloodmoon Ursaluna has been available for a while now, if I'm not mistaken, from the Shrouded Fable expansion. So same set as Serendipity, same set as Dust Noir. Obviously, those cards have had their time in the spotlight since they came out. Bloodmoon Ursaluna, I mean, it's about to have time in the spotlight. How well it uses it, that's what we're about to find out.
I mean, on theory, looking at it, it should have a fairly favorable matchup into the Raging Bolt, right? Raging Bolt is known for this very straightforward, linear deck where it's just going to take prize cards. And the way to really slow it down is, hey, you're taking one at a time. I'm a baby Bloodmoon Ursaluna. I'm a basic Pokemon, non-rule box, so you're going to have to, take at least 6 knockouts, maybe 5 plus the, or maybe 4 plus the Bloodmoon, an EX, maybe we drop the Festivity as well. It's going to be interesting how Juseni is going to maneuver this matchup, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, she'll definitely be at a sort of disadvantage. Now, we are seeing Juseni up 1-0 in the match, but it's not a mistake, even though the round has not started. We can communicate that there has been a game loss issued from deck check for Victor, so there was some issue with his cards, with his sleeves. I'm not exactly sure what the issue was, but Juseni will be starting the round 1-0 up, so it's either one game for Juseni or 2 back-to-back games for Victor to close out this round. I'm pretty sure the judge is informing them of probably the procedures, right? Since Juseni is now technically the winner of game 1, that means Victor will probably get to choose whether he goes first or second. Hope they did that before they took a look at their opening hands. As we see the prizes here, nothing too crazy other than maybe the Vengeful Punch. Like, that's the one standout card that you wouldn't expect from pretty much any other deck, right?
Oh yeah, looking at it right now, just a lot of 1-ofs, really, and of things you have multiple of. The Vengeful Punch, not quite sure how important that is. Maybe if Victor struggles to get damage counters on their own side of the board, then maybe it might be a little bit tough. But again, very odd card to have prized. I'm curious actually if that is there's only one. Yes, it is. It is the only singular one. Again, not too familiar with the deck, so count may be odd.
Yeah, there's definitely no standard 60-card deck list, I don't think, for Bloodmoon Ursaluna at this point, right? It's a deck that hasn't found any success quite yet. This could be its breakout tournament, right? Maybe we close out Mega Evolution with a fantastic new archetype being found, just like we opened it with that Mega Absolute Box deck that Tord shook the world with.
That is true, as we are going to start a round here again. It is Victor against Juseni. Juseni is going to start us off, does open the Fan Rotom, so it is the ideal start. Gets the, I believe that is the Ditto as well, so we are going to see some switching action into a new Pokemon potentially. But right now, Pablo, let's talk about this matchup. What's going through your mind? Who has the advantage in your, I'm sure, multiple testing of the Bloodmoon Ursaluna deck? I'm sure you have a lot of data.
I have hundreds and hundreds of hours of games logged with both decks for sure, and I can tell you exactly what is going to happen. We're going to see a lot of knockouts. We're going to see a lot of energy attachments by both players. We're going to be seeing Jewel Seeker get utilized. We're going to see Transformative Start as well. We're going to be seeing a lot of Adrenabrain get utilized. So yeah, both of these decks, I'm sure, can go toe-to-toe, but no, like, all jokes aside, single price deck against a 2-price focus deck. If the single price deck can one-hit KO these 2-price Pokemon, it should have a natural advantage, right? However, over on Juseni's side, yep, we have the Raging Bolt, the non-EX Raging Bolt with the Thunderburst Storm attack to pressure the bench. However, most of the Pokemon over on Victor's side have a lot of HP, right? So it might not be a Thunderburst Storm angle. It might actually be continually using Dragon Headbutt to deal 130 damage, knock out Monkey Durries, knock out Solrocks, knock out Lunatones, knock out Hitmonchan, knock out that Bloodmoon Ursaluna if it has any residual damage, and it doesn't have anything to help it. Now, we do see a huge top deck here for Victor with that Fighting Gong.
Yes, Fighting Gong, very, very popular and powerful, definitely. Able to find any basic fighting Pokemon or basic fighting energy, and in a deck full of fighting Pokemon, including the Bloodmoon Ursaluna. That is very powerful. Of course, Victor is opting to use the Solrock and Lunatone engine as well. It just naturally fits in since we are playing the fighting energy. So, found the Solrock there. Has the Lunatone in hand? No.
No Lunatone, but did top deck the Lily, actually. Not the Fighting Gong, it was actually the Lily. I was corrected, so yeah, brand new set of cards, 8 off of this Lily. If we can move this Munkidori from the active with an Urballoon perhaps, and we can find that Lunatone pairing, we could start getting aggressive, get some damage onto the board before Juicieni has even had a chance to do anything at all now. Juicieni did go for the Raging Bolt off of the Ditto, and I don't see a Terra on the bench, so I have to assume there's a way to get a Terra Pokemon onto the bench for next turn, just playing it safe and making sure we can threaten. I'm guessing she didn't know what she was up against, so if you see a Munkidori, maybe you assume Gardevoir, maybe you assume Grimmsnarl as well. There's a good chance it's either of those decks, and you want to start with the aggression early on the bench.
Exactly, as Victor does have the Nest Ball as well, so we are going to see the whole Solrock Lunatone combo. Victor is going to be able to discard an energy, draw 3 extra cards. If Victor finds a way to switch as well, getting the first hit on the Raging Bolt seems pretty good. 130 HP, that's essentially a 2-hit KO, and you're starting at the aggression. But Nest Ball looks like deciding to grab a second Munkidori instead, because, of course, Fighting Gong is in hand, can grab the Lunatone that way.
I wonder if, at this point, you can even predict what your opponent is playing. Like, I feel like you have to be pretty deep in Pokemon TCG lore to know about the Bloodmoon Ursaluna, what the deck contains, what's the main strategy. There's no other deck that combines Munkidori and the Lunatone Solrock engine, I don't think.
Okay, we've been talking about it a lot, but of course, here it is, Bloodmoon Ursaluna on the screen. Anyway, not yet on the field. 150 HP basic Pokemon is actually pretty big. That means it cannot get knocked out by Raging Bolt's Dragon Headbutt. Not to mention, it has the ability Battle Harden. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you get to attach 2 basic energy cards from your hand. Energy Acceleration in itself is pretty good. The attack is also pretty good as well. 100 damage plus 30 for each damage counter on your opponent's Pokemon. So the important thing is, how do we damage our Bloodmoon Ursaluna?
I mean, there's a lot of synergy between all these cards, but the missing piece is that damage, right? However, there is a stadium, Calamitous Snowy Mountain, where anytime you attach an energy to one of your Pokemon, or to a non-water Pokemon, I do believe, then you deal 2 damage counters to said Pokemon. So Bloodmoon Ursaluna will power itself up. Those energies are coming from the hand. You damage yourself. Then you attach from hand. That's 6 damage counters that you can then throw to your opponent with the Adrenaline Brain ability to make sure the numbers work well in your favor, and you're dishing those 1-hit KOs back to back to back.
Exactly. Again, Munkidori, key part of the strategy. This is one of those strategies where a lot of things really do have to come together to be able to dish out such efficient damage on a basic Pokemon with high HP. On paper, it's great, but can we put things together? I think right now, though, looks like, it was just a pass to Juicieni, and it is going to be Nest Ball played. Can we find an attack here?
And we did bench the Terra, we've discarded a few energies, we can get the maximum value out of this Professor Sada, but we will only be dealing probably 60 damage somewhere on the bench, which is not very impactful. If there was a Duskull, if there was a Pidgey, if there was a Bodyu even, this would be pretty solid. But we can still go out of our way to use the other Noctowl, find a potential energy switch if there is one in the deck. There is one copy of Energy Switch, and it is not priced. Or no, it is priced. It's at the very bottom of the price card, so we're definitely not getting a knockout this particular turn. We can do 60 damage, which could even honestly work against us if the Munkidoris get powered up eventually.
Unless, of course, she decides to pivot into the bigger Raging Bolt. Since Sada did accelerate 2 energy there, one to the baby, one to the big one. So all that's lacking really is maybe a switch plus an energy attachment. With the evolution of now the second Noctowl played, we might be going aggressive here, Pablo. What do you think about that?
Yeah, the Prime Catcher will let us take a knockout this turn with the Raging Bolt, as you mentioned. However, that's a lot of resources utilized in order to get a single prize card, right? Double Noctowl, our A-spec of choice. We need the attachment as well onto our Pokemon. So, yeah, I mean, it's what you have to do, right? You need to get on the board, especially against these single price decks. You need to make sure that you are doing a lot of damage as fast as possible now. Seems like we're switching gears a little bit. We have Latias, so we grab the Prime Catcher, make sure we have the possibility to chase something. We are out of Noctowls, so grabbing that perhaps for next turn. And yeah, we'll just take the knockout on this Munkidori.
Well, Raging Bolt doing Raging Bolt things, able to just put on the aggression, doing 140 damage with that Bellowing Thunder, takes a knockout on the Munkidori. Right now, though, back to Victor, does promote the Solrock. Is there a possibility here that Victor takes a knockout on the Raging Bolt?
Needs a lot of pieces, right? But, I mean, counter gain would be one to help yourself with the damage counter placement and covering the attack cost. This deck requires a lot of like Crispin usage to get extra energy into play, a lot of extra energy in your hand. But the first piece is the stadium. Without the stadium to self-generate damage onto your side of the field, we're not going anywhere. And I don't even see a Bloodmoon in hand, and there's definitely no stadium. Oh, there is a Bloodmoon, but there's no stadium.
Yes, again, and stadiums are so hard to find. If you can't tutor them out by using something like the Noctowl, trying to find it with an Arven isn't possible. What is the A-spec of choice?
Secret Box.
Oh, never mind. That's a pretty good way to find your stadium.
Yeah, Secret Box will be able to find Victor. The stadium will allow him to actually get everything going. That might be the one or the key card that will let him pull off this knockout onto the active Raging Bolt with the Bloodmoon.
I feel like everything is absolutely needed from this secret box because, again, to remind folks at home, Bloodmoon Ursaluna's attack does require 3 energy, right? And with 3 energy, it only accelerates 2 to itself, so I believe the tool counter gain might be important as well. Since you do have, unfortunately, there's no darkness energy yet on Victor's side of the field. They're going to have to dedicate energy attachment for turn there, so are all the pieces there?
We did the maths earlier, Juancho.
Yes.
How many damage counters do we need on this Raging Bolt for the Bloodmoon to do enough damage to knock it out?
All right, so Bloodmoon does 100 base, and then for each damage counter on your opponent, does plus 30. So if you have, I believe, 40 on the Raging Bolt, that should be knockout 250, right?
Yeah, that would definitely be enough. 260 damage, I believe. Yeah, so 4 from the Raging Bolt that you move onto them. Now, how do you move 4 damage counters onto Raging Bolts with a single Monkey Dory, however?
Okay, maybe that is impossible.
No, I mean, the math was correct. It's just not possible
right now.
This particular turn, we don't, like, it requires too many energy attachments. There's a Crispin, but we already Arven for the secret box, so we cannot play the Crispin. Like, we could counter gain, and that frees our attachment from the Bloodmoon onto one of the Monkey Dory, but we cannot attach 2 energies per turn. That would be breaking the Pokemon TCG rules, and we don't like doing that one.
Absolutely not. As, let's see here, though. If we can move 3 damage counters, though, and we're doing 100 base plus the 30, that means we're doing 190 damage plus the 30 damage. That's 220. That leaves Raging Bolt with around 20 HP. So maybe easily taken care of the following turn with a Monkey Dory. Definitely a possibility there. Not to mention, the Calamitous Snowy Mountain does affect a Raging Bolt and everything on Jusiani's side of the field as well. So that may come into play.
Yeah, if Jusiani doesn't have a Sada, for example, and is forced to attach energy from hand, then she would self-KO that Raging Bolt. So it's not ideal, but being at 2 damage counters away from knocking out this Raging Bolt is almost like knocking it out. And because you have such a good favorable price trade in your favor, then it's pretty simple to just go after it eventually and still come out ahead.
We're talking about so many pieces, Pablo, like the Bloodmoon Ursaluna, counter gain, the stadium. How do you like if it's just a simple attack with the Soul Rock? Do you feel comfortable with that?
It's probably good enough, once again, because of the 2-for-1 price trade, right? Even if your opponent gets ahead 2, like the maximum they can get ahead before you start needing them to whiff an actual KO is 3 prizes. If Jusiani takes 3 prizes before Victor takes his first one, that's completely fine for Victor to still come out ahead by taking 2 prizes each turn. But if Jusiani manages to take 4, then it starts to get a little grim.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is Prize Mapping 101 with Pablo Meza. Right now, though, back to Jusiani's turn. Does have the Earthen Vessel, so it does have a couple energy in hand now. It's safe to just attach. I'm sure it is just going to be more damage now on the Raging Bolt, but with that much damage on it, I feel like Bloodmoon can definitely clear things out, as Teal Dance Pokemon is going to be able to accelerate energy and draw.
Prime Catcher is available, but imagine if that was a Professor Sada or whatnot, right? The Prime Catcher, of course, is a very good card, but it's not super useful right about now. We do need 2 extra damage from the Snowy Mountain, both on the Ogre Pond and also on the active. If Victor manages an attack, now it's going to be a lot of damage being dealt to the Raging Bolt. Quick math on the spot, Juancho. How much damage is it? 9 damage counters plus base damage, 370.
Oh, wow, okay. I was already going to do it in my head, but good job, as it is just going to be the knockout there on the Soul Rock, though. And Jusiani leads the pack. 2 prizes to Victor's. Nothing quite yet.
Nothing quite yet. Now, I do want to point out this choice. Like, Jusiani chose to discard or spread the energy last turn. This turn, I would love to ask her right now, hey, Jusiani, do you know what your opponent is playing other than Lunatone, Solrock, and Monkey Dory? Because I don't know if she actually knows, and she knows in how much trouble this Raging Bolt is. Victor already has the Bloodmoon, already can attach the energies, has a Monkey Dory established, has the counter gain as well, has plenty of ways to recover energy too, and even has the Crispin. So Crispin will allow him to power up the Bloodmoon Ursaluna or keep a fighting hand, will activate the second Monkey Dory, and we are about to see this Raging Bolt get super KO'd, and we'll put Victor in a pretty good spot where Jusiani doesn't have any sort of threat established. needs something more powerful than the Fan Rotom or this Raging Ball to take down the Bloodmoon Ursaluna, which can also be fully healed at this point in time, and has no Noctowl availability and no supporter in hand.
Are you ready, Pablo? Are you ready for the first ever Mad Bite here at LAIC? Very, very terrifying name of an attack. How much damage is it doing again?
370.
370, okay, oh my god. The big 370 damage upcoming here. But we'll have to wait, we'll wait and see. It looks like the fighting energy was used instead to draw, but there is another one in the hand.
Yep, had the option to counter gain, does have the energy attachment. Kind of like the counter gain a little bit better. It's one less energy on your Bloodmoon, which means...
It looks like the Lily was just accidentally attached.
Attached to the energy.
You know, the Goldilocks and the 3 bears there. But no, Lily goes back into the hand, so yeah. I don't know, I like the attachment here. Maybe save the tool for when you're in a more dire spot. But again, you're taking the lead, though. How much dire of a spot can you get? So yeah, use it or lose it maybe at this point. But looks like Monkey Dory damage now is going to be moved. What's a good target here?
That's a great question, Juancho. I mean, with all my experience with this deck, I want to say, yeah, keep piling up the damage on that Teal Mask Ogre, pardon me, and maybe you get an extra couple prizes by keeping the flow of Adrenabrain going.
And there it was, Mad Bite for 370 damage. Probably the highest damage we're going to see here at LAIC.
For sure, yeah.
Unless someone plays Alakazam, potentially.
Well, I mean, Raging Ball does, like, we could see a Raging Ball try to KO, like, a Hero Caved Charizard or something.
Okay,
so
okay.
I feel like we could still be in the running to, but it's definitely the highest so far, 370 damage, plus the 90 already on top, 460 total.
And imagine, this is on a basic non-rule box Pokemon that's only giving up 1 prize card, has 150 HP, and accelerates itself. Somehow, if I saw this card, 10 or so years ago, I would have thought this would have been the best deck in format.
I mean, sure. This could be the tournament where we all find that out.
Yes. Right now, though, it looks like we're going to grab a couple more energies from the discard pile. Superior Energy Retrieval now being played. Not something you see every day in the Raging Ball. Sometimes it's superior, sometimes it's just the energy retrieval. But hey, that's a lot of energies in hand, a lot of energies we can accelerate and attach. But still no counter stadium, so this Ogerpon is going to damage itself once again.
Yep.
2 extra.
More damage counters heading into that Ogerpon. It now has 90 HP left. Not quite in range of Monkey Dory next turn, but honestly, that could happen eventually. Now we're going to see an Ultra Ball. There's nothing in Jusiani's hand, so this has to find Phasantipity and hope we find something. Otherwise, our best option, honestly, it's to not attack. Like, at this point, you don't want to give your opponent any potential damage. And if you retreat into the Latias is a little hard to KO for Victor at this point in time because there's no damage on his side of the field. He would need another, like, whole Bloodmoon Ursaluna established so that he can self-generate the damage in order to get a knockout.
So the best play is to not attack, but Raging Bolt's #1 thing is attacking.
Yeah,
seems very...
That's how you win the game, right? So if you're not attacking, sure, maybe your opponent can't KO you, but you're also not KOing. So it's like a lose-lose situation where you are not putting yourself ahead, and also your opponent's just, like, they don't need to be ahead or they don't need to catch up because you are not applying any sort of pressure. We do see the Professor Sada. We could see 130 damage, actually, with Raging Bolt's second attack, thanks to the energy switch that was freed from the prize cards. So actually, Jusiani does have an option to go Prime Catcher KO one of the Monkey Dories, limit that option, and also continue to apply pressure on the board without leaving damage on the board as well.
I thought I saw there is a superior energy. There's an energy retrieval as well in hand, so Jusiani's deck really does prioritize having energy in general, as it is just attachment there.
It's attach and pass. We're not going to go aggressive. We're not going to try to take prizes with the energy switch and Prime Catcher combo we had. So yeah, rough situation to be in. Now there's damage on that Raging Bolt as well. I mean, and the Rotom doesn't need any prior damage because 100, despite the resistance, is enough.
Yeah, the Bloodmoon Ursaluna having no downside on the attack as well. There's no, oh, this Pokemon cannot attack the next turn. It can continuously swing if you let it. The only question is, can we get even more damage on the board? The fact that the stadium still has not been bumped, too, that means each attachment Victor does, that's 2 damage counters. That's 60 damage, 60 extra damage that Bloodmoon Ursaluna can eventually do. Or maybe those 2 damage counters can go on to the Teal Mask Ogerpon, get a sneaky knockout eventually. Just falling behind here. It's looking tough for Jusiani.
Yeah, it's not looking great overall. That game loss, like we said, like on paper, the single price deck, if it can 1-hit KO 2 price Pokemon, it should always have an advantage. And it also always has like a little bit of wiggle room and time where it can fall behind 1, 2, or even 3 prices and still be able to catch up eventually. So looking pretty good. Victor basically needs to not get over eager, right? He needs to just make sure that he can continue to attack every single turn, has copies of the stadiums in play, or in hand, has copies of the Bloodmoon Ursaluna, has the possibility to utilize the Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX to close out a game perhaps after he takes the next 2 prizes, and in case Jusiani is able to piece out any sort of KO. And I think Victor being doing it very well, and probably hedging on the fact that there's probably no hand disruption, so just have the Night Stretcher in your hand for whenever this Blood Moon ends up going down, if ever it ends up going down.
Yeah, decks like Raging Bolt known for not playing too much disruption, but Jusiani does play at least one Iono. So there is one Iono to play around, but right now, even Iono to 4 seems A-okay. But, of course, Victor here, looking to just continuously establishing the board. Are we going to see a second Baby Bloodmoon Ursaluna hit the board? Especially with this superior energy retrieval now being played, we're getting a lot of energies back. That seems pretty good. Again, there is 3 fighting energy, plus the dark energy now in the hand. There it is. Another Baby Bloodmoon Ursaluna. Battle Hardened. Accelerating 2 energy cards, 40 damage, plus that dark. Now 60 damage on that Bloodmoon Ursaluna.
Guess where that's going, Juancho?
It's going to be moving to the other side of the board. Are we committing it? Yes, everything on the Teal Mask Ogerpon. 180 damage now on the Teal Mask Ogerpon. It has 30 HP left. That's not that much. That's 1 Monkey Dory away.
Yeah. I mean, if we had retreated into the Latias, it definitely would have gone down based on everything that Victor did. Maybe we could have retreated onto Noctowl to prevent, or to force like the damage to be a bit more spread for some sort of damage counters on your Noctowl, not put the Teal Mask. Maybe it's inconsequential at this point, honestly. Victor has the perfect board, the perfect stadium. Jusiani's not able to really do anything. Didn't apply pressure last turn either. I feel like a lot of people forget that Raging Bolt has 2 attacks. I think that's a big deal. Like, Raging Bolt, that second Dragon Headbutt doesn't get utilized enough when it could be. Like, now we see the attachment, but 90 damage once again doesn't threaten anything. We could have used the energy switch last turn. We had the Prime Catcher, so, I mean, we could be one prize ahead, right? Just asking a bit more from your opponent. We're getting that 4th energy onto the Raging Bolt now.
4th energy on that Raging Bolt means the Thunderburst Storm is, of course, doing 30 times 420 damage. We can snipe something from the board. It could be a Monkey Dory. It could be one of the Lunatone Soul Rock combos. What do you think is more important to Victor here?
It's got to be the Monkey Dories, right? That's how you power up your damage. That's how you threaten multiple targets like this one. I mean, and still, if this stadium, pretty good, maybe a little too late. If we take a knockout and Victor's able to generate 6 more damage counters, 3 damage counters onto his side of the board, 1 Adrenabrain, knock out on the bench, Teal Mask, and then knock out the active, and we head to game 3.
Yeah, definitely looking tough here. Just doesn't have too many tricks up their sleeve, right? Because Raging Bolt just known for being able to attack. There's no extra prize cards. There's no maybe mill. There's no trap. But it's really good at doing that attack. But against single prize card, it's just it does take a lot. Now Victor here is very close to winning. 3 prize cards remaining. Has double Bloodmoon Ursaluna set up. Doesn't have the stadium quite yet. What pieces are missing here, Pablo?
I think it's Crispin, because the deck only plays 2 Bloodmoon Ursaluna, both of which are in play and powered up. So there's no way to generate self-damage with the Battle Hardened ability. Jusiani needs that 3 prize cards. If there's an energy switch, maybe we can... No, we can't win with Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX. We're at 3 prizes. We can't generate enough self-damage to knock out 2 Pokemon at once. At least not as far as I can tell. We are going to see the Calamitous, the Snowy Mountain. We are going to see the attachment. That's 2 damage counters on the Monkey Dory being placed, and that means we're 10 off from the knockout at this point in time. But honestly, like, you're in a rush. Like, you just win next turn. That's not a problem whatsoever.
Yes, double Monkey Dory now in play. As long as the stadium does stay, as just like a singular attachment wins the game. But now the Vengeful Punch, pulled out of the prize cards there onto the Bloodmoon Ursaluna. That's another thing you have to worry about as well. So whatever's hitting into this Bloodmoon Ursaluna is essentially set up to get knocked out as well.
Yep, even spreading the damage counters knows that whatever next attack happens will probably be gained, so not too worried about knocking out the Teal Mask Ogerpon. Down to 2 prize cards, and this overwhelming prize card advantage, or prize mapping advantage, is definitely now catching up after Jusiani had a powerful start, taking knockout after knockout, slowed down for a turn, but I don't think that would have been enough to seal the deal.
Yeah, this, again, Jusiani now, massive hand, could potentially use whatever she wants. I see the grass energy. I'm getting a little nervous. If that gets accelerated, that puts it down to 1 HP, 10 HP, but I don't think it matters as much as Prime Catcher is now finally being playing around the Vengeful Punch there. So that's one way to prevent damage.
Playing around the Vengeful Punch, but allowing your opponent to self-generate damage through the Battle Hardened ability. off of the Night Stretcher that you saw your opponent grab with the Arven earlier, right? So this is basically helping Victor at this point in time in case he didn't have a way to self-generate damage. I mean, by not placing damage on this Steel Mask Overbond, Victor essentially shut down the option to potentially win next turn by just moving damage, right? Although, I mean, 2 damage counters moves them here, 4 damage counters enough. We're playing, if Victor has 1 energy, it's game over. And we attach, that's 2 more damage counters. Inconsequential, we can knock out anything on the board.
Would have loved to see maybe an Iono here. That would have been the perfect time to use it at that point.
Oh, we do play an Iono, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, this would have been the perfect time to do so.
But unfortunately, I didn't quite see it in the hands, not in the prize cards.
Oh,
the hand is massive, though.
I think JCC was only going to discard 2 energies, maybe? Or not? Are we going back on that?
Was it declared and no, wasn't enough? Again, it's very weird to see a basic Pokemon with 150 HP. Typically, if you
just assume that you look at it and it goes down, right?
Yeah. Typically, you just discard 2 and knocks out every basic Pokemon that doesn't have a rule box out there.
Oh, okay. Apparently, we did not draw the card from the Teal Mask, and it's actually Iono. My goodness. What?
So that is the exact card that JCC needs to get back into it. If Iono is played and there's no means to generate damage on Victor's side of the board, JCC is still in this.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to see the Iono played. If we had taken that knockout 1 turn earlier with that Raging Bolt, and JCC was going down to 1 prize card here, then maybe we would have a game on our hands. Now, JCC will draw 3, Victor will draw 2, one of which is Arven, which can now find the Night Stretcher. And JCC needs to counter a Stadium.
And
there it is. Okay. All right. We have a game. There's a Stadium counter, so no more self-generating damage. You're going to see the knockout right here. Gosh, 10 HP away. That is crazy.
10 HP remaining on that Teal Dad's Ogerpon. If only Bloodmoon was like Gardevoir EX that could generate the damage whenever, really. But no, of course, we all can't be good as Gardevoir EX. But yeah, extra bench space. Getting the extra Pokemon down is pretty big there as well, because once Victor bumps the Stadium, there goes all the damage as well. So that could be very big.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. We see another Night Stretcher off the top. There's a Nest Ball for Bloodmoon, and that's going to be it.
The big Bloodmoon, ladies and gentlemen. The one we're all used to seeing at JCC, of course, down to 2 prize cards, so Season Skill is activated. All we need is 1 energy, and there it is. Bloodmoon for 240. Victor ties it up here, 1-1.
All right, not bad. Not a bad showing for the deck. Definitely one of the best possible matchups, most likely, for it. The 2-for-1 price trade-off is pretty great. And the high HP really nullifies that Raging Bolt, which JCC probably, I think we're in a similar situation to round 1, right? Where we saw Middlestaff make a choice of discarding Lunatone, saw a Psyduck, assumed probably Mega Absol Box, and played with imperfect information. JCC saw a Monkey Dory, assumed Guardy or Dragapult or Grimmsnarl, all of which do not enjoy the early pressure from Raging Bolt, except she's up against the one deck that doesn't mind the Raging Bolt whatsoever. Let's take a look at what happened in this game 1. Game 2, sorry.
Yes, this game 2, again, it was a lot of attacking, really, from both sides. Again, Raging Bolt EX able to just swing and swing. But the more important attacker is, of course, this baby Bloodmoon Ursaluna with the biggest attack in the game. I believe it, what was it, 370 damage again? Yeah.
370 damage total, yep.
Can knock out almost any, can knock out any Mega EX Pokemon at that point. But of course, just all the damage counters spread onto the Teal Mask Ogerpon. I kind of enjoyed the fact that it was also hurting itself with every time it Teal Dance, it was a double-edged sword. Yes, it's getting energy onto the board, it's getting cards in hand, but every damage counter did matter.
Yeah, every damage counter. I feel like in every match, right, most games can be, or many games can be decided by one damage counter being correctly placed or being incorrectly placed, right? And it has to do with decision making, your choices, what you expect from the future, what you can predict your opponent could do, what is likely, what is unlikely, despite it being possible, right? There's so many variables to take into account now. Take a look at the prizes. 3 energies in the prizes for JCC, not ideal, as well as that 1 copy of the Noctowl, whereas Victor has a couple Urban prize, a basic Darkness Energy, and that Vengeful Punch, which could be problematic.
Vengeful Punch just really likes hiding in the prize cards there. Unfortunately, top left now this time, so it's not going to be drawn anytime soon. But again, we've seen Victor really generate damage on his own. Doesn't really necessarily need it. It's nice to have, but let's see if Victor can put something together. Again, we saw how dominating that game 2 was, Pablo. Is there anything JCC can do to change up here to take this game?
I don't know if there's anything to change up. You just need to make sure you're aggressive every single turn, right? Essentially, when you're playing against a single price deck like this one, Victor did not start a 2-price Pokemon, so we are probably not going to see a 2-price Pokemon until we are like against the rope and we need to draw cards with Serendipity, or it's the very end and it doesn't matter anymore. So Jusiani essentially needs to make sure that she can attack for 6 back-to-back turns and hope that at some point Victor cannot attack you.
Ooh, we're showing on the screen there something you don't see every day was that Hitmonchan. Something didn't get featured just yet in the last game, but hey, that's another way to damage counters on your opponent's board. It does have the ability to, if you hit it, it does punch back. Right now, just a Solrock and a Lunatone and an attach. So that's not too bad. Again, having that draw engine just set up there. Let's see if Jusiani can pull off the famous turn 1 attack with the Raging Bolt EX. Doesn't need that much, but does she have it?
The Crispin, the one-off Crispin, doesn't seem unlikely, or the less easy combination, discarding energy, finding Sada, attaching, and whatnot. I mean, if you pull it off, that's like the best case scenario, yes, right, for Jusiani. She also chose to go second, as she did lose game 2. Therefore, she knows that that's probably or possibly what she needs to do. And also, there's always a chance your opponent only has 1 Pokemon in play, and you get the attack off and you bench them, right? So in an unfavorable matchup, no deck is immune to that situation.
Exactly, as we do see the energy attachment. I don't see the Crispin, so there is a Sada, but again, no energy just yet in the discard pile. It's just going to be the pass as we move back now to Victor's side. I'm getting a little scared, Pablo, just because the Bloodmoon is such a scary Pokemon that it can just come out of nowhere and start swinging. But maybe we're probably still safe this turn, right?
Yeah, I think you're being a little too scared at this point, Juancho. I think until, like, Bloodmoon is scary when there's multiple Monkey Dory to back it up, right? Otherwise, it's just doing 100 damage and not pulling off much. So I think Victor, like, he'll be fine taking it cool for another turn, building up his hand, drawing more cards. Now knows there's an Iono, but right now an Iono to 6 is not as destructive, right? So it's pretty happy. And that it also means there's no Iono later down the line, possibly. Very few Raging Bolt decks play multiple disruption cards. Usually the average is 1. So I don't think you would mind it too much. And once again, Victor can go down 3 price cards and he's still completely fine to win the game. If he goes down 4, he's in trouble. If Jusiani had taken a price card last turn, had the right pieces in her hand, it would be a little bit scarier because Victor would also not have the Lunatone Solrock engine available to him, or at least not immediately, because one of the pieces would have gone away. But none of that happened, so Victor in a pretty okay spot, I want to say, and even having the Boss's Orders to chase down one of the Hoot-Hoots this turn.
The aggression here from Victor against Solrock with the Cosmic Beam doing 70 damage, just enough to take a knockout on the Hoot-Hoot. Doesn't care about resistance. It's going to be 70 damage no matter what, and Victor takes the lead here. I think the Bloodmoon Ursaluna deck is just, I think, perfectly captures how powerful a lot of our basic Pokemon are right now. It's literally playing the 2 best basic Pokemon in the, well, sorry, 2 best non-rule box basic Pokemon in the game, and it's very dependent on Monkey Dory and the Solrock engine. The Bloodmoon Ursaluna is just extra.
It's just extra, yeah. It's just there. It's just happy to be there, right, with his friends.
Right now, Jusiani does have Teal Mask Ogerpon with 2 energy attached, so that is a very clean way to attack without having to discard. Not too bad to have there.
Now, time to start applying pressure. We cannot miss out on another turn, right? We really need to get going. Shutting down the Solrock engine, or the Solrock Lunatone engine at this point in time, seems pretty good, I would say. It's like step 1 in possibly having your opponent whiff, but Victor could whiff 2-3 turns and still come out ahead in this exchange. And now that he took the first prize card in this case, and the Fan Rotom is here, we could actually be put in a situation where the residual damage that sometimes is left over, right, that got piled up on the Teal Mask Ogerpon last game, now gets piled up on the Rotom, and that's how you go back to event prize cards. And so all you need to worry about is 2 big knockouts instead of 3.
2 big knockouts and a way to generate more damage on yourself to move. But yeah, looks like Serendipity is going to be played now as well. Jusiani may be feeling the lack of resources since, again, 1 Hoot-Hoot was knocked out, 1 was just evolved to a knockout. Right now, there is no more Hoot-Hoot in play. So I think it'd be good to just find a way to draw every turn, try and draw into the cards that she needs. One of which is definitely that Grass Energy to get this attack.
Yeah, we want a Myriad Leaf Shower this poor Solrock out of existence, doing a lot of damage, and it being weak, we're going to be doing upwards of, I think it's going to be, what, 300? Yeah, 300 damage to this poor Solrock. Not quite Bloodmoon numbers, but not too far off, honestly.
Just big numbers in this game, Pablo. Big numbers. Unnecessarily big.
Unnecessarily big. That is true. A lot of leftover damage in this spot. We're going to see the Sada get an energy attachment as well. And I mean, this is the best that Jusiani can hope for. Aggression as soon as she could, right, which is as early as turn 2. Deny the Soul Rock engine, have attackers powered up, have energy in play. Maybe the one of Hoot Hoot is the one card we would love to have, and immediately the Night Stretcher gets played to get that back.
Yeah, I always feel safer when there's a Hoot Hoot in play, because if there's a Hoot Hoot, that means there's a chance for a knockdown, and then anything can happen.
Now, I think a definite adaptation I would have liked to see from Jusiani is the game has played out to where she needed a Terra Pokemon and she started the Raging Bolt, I think, or maybe not quite. I think Slitherwing, which she does run, would have been a pretty good play. The non-EX Raging Bolt with that second attack is actually very effective against Lunatone, against Solrock, and against the Monkey Dory. So if your opponent is using a single price strategy, you need to try to at least match them as long as you can, so that it's an even exchange, and then eventually hit them with that Iono and hit them with your big attacker and hope they whiff.
Fight fire with fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes a lot of sense, as looks like Solrock was just immediately replaced there with one from the deck, and now we can see an attack. Now we can see some draws. Importantly as well, though, Monkey Dories haven't been getting the Darkness energy attached as quickly. We haven't seen them explosive, crispin turns just yet. But searching the deck here, putting the secret box on top there, kind of signifies to me we're going to see some sandwich making.
Yeah, we have a pretty good hand overall. Now is when you want to start getting those 2 prize cards, of course. And I wonder if that previous prize card, dedicating the boss instead of going for something like a Lily, getting a better hand, getting just more resources, getting your Monkey Dories established so that you can take away this turn. However, we see the Bloodmoon, we see the Stadium, we're going to start self-generating some damage, and we're going to go Lily. So what do we need here, Juancho? We need counter gain and a darkness energy to get a knockout. Oh, we're tied. We're tied 5-5. Never mind, yeah.
There's no way, I think, to get a knockout this turn.
Yeah, we can hope for 100 damage, but then our Bloodmoon that we invested so many resources into just gets knocked out in return. Yeah. Did get the counter gain, did get an energy, but as you very well pointed out, that counter gain is completely useless at this point in time.
Yeah, one of the downsides of being the aggressor, taking the early prize card, now we're falling a little bit short here from knocking out.
There is a combination of cards that gets you there. Dark energy plus energy switch. So you attach the dark to Monkey Dory, use Adrenaline Brain, and then energy switch that energy onto the Bloodmoon in order to take the knockout here. However, Fez was no help. Now there's a 2-prizer in play, and Victor will miss a knockout right here, it seems. So far so good. Right? This could open up. Yeah, this could open up a path for Jusiani to outright win this game. No energy switch, one of which is prized. No dark energy, one of which is prized as well. So it seems like we're just going to have a passive turn here for Victor, and a great opening for Jusiani to get even farther ahead. The 7 damage counters on the Teal Dance or the Teal Mask will set up the Ogerpon to be KO'd later, but your opponent missing a beat and having this 2-prizer in play essentially advances the clock for Jusiani by a whole turn, which is huge.
Very, very big. Every turn counts as, the Slitherwing is the draw you mentioned earlier. This could be a nice card to play into this matchup. Match single prizer for single prizer, but right now, bump the Stadium as well. So again, at least there is already damage on board. The only thing that is really scary is there is a lot of good Pokemon, good targets on the bench, right? There's that Bloodmoon Ursaluna with the dedicated energies already. Even the damage is a resource for Victor.
There was no KO, so we can't draw with Fez, or I don't know why we were grabbing cards off the top. That was a close one. Draw. Yeah, we can't draw from any abilities at this point in time. We have Prime Catcher, we have Crispin. I think we need to focus on taking a knockout, right? That has to be the main focus of everything we are doing here. We're going to see an attachment. I'd love to see the Prime Catcher KO on the Fezantipity, or maybe even the Bloodmoon, because then you're asking Victor to have so much more stuff to deal with you. We're going to see the Crispin that removes away boss disorders as a possibility. We could also end up using the Slitherwing. I also don't mind that at all. Using Slitherwing to KO the Bloodmoon could be a pretty good option as well.
A lot of options here for Jusiani. I think that's a Grass Energy and a Lightning.
Grass, yeah, so I wonder if the other fighting energy is here, and Jusiani forgot and was hoping to attack with Slitherwing this turn, and instead we're not going to be seeing that whatsoever. Yeah, she's shaking her head. I think she did not realize that she was out of the fighting energy. Oh, it's priced, actually. It's her next prize card, not available just yet. We can see the importance of price checking, of course. Always very crucial. Come on, Jusiani, I really want to see that Prime Catcher KO on the Fezantipity. Either accelerate your win condition, deny your opponent resources. There's no way to attack with the Slitherwing now unless you commit to the energy switch, which if we go for the Noctowl, I feel like this is such a huge stretch, right? Like you're tunneling into compensating for your mistake or your oversight of the prize card instead of just going for the two straightforward prizes.
Ultra Ball was played there. Is going to grab the knockdown. I could see the energy switch, just like you said. Is the Prime Catcher already in hand?
Yeah, it is already in hand. So, like, of course, both options are good, but one doesn't require a Noctowl, which means you have Noctowl available for later. And now we're eyeing up Sada. We're being a little indecisive. There's the energy switch, so we are going to do this essentially compensation play in order to make sure. We could knock out the Fezandipiti with a Slitherwing itself as well. That's an option as well. But in a situation where we don't unlock the fighting energy out of the prize cards, could get a little awkward if the two fighting energies are stuck on the Slitherwing at some point. But Victor's not that sort of control deck. There's no Yveltal or anything, so probably won't run into that.
And there it is, just like you said, the Prime Catcher onto the Fezandipiti. Giussiani is going to opt to attack with this Slitherwing. Of course, Fezandipiti weak to fighting. So this is also the first Burning Turbulence of LAIC. 120 times 2, 240. That's a knockout. Giussiani goes down to 3 prize cards.
90 self-damage. A little awkward because that also is prime possibility for Monkey Dory to start doing its shenanigans and take you down in between turns or during your opponent's turn, essentially, handing them that or losing that advantage of utilizing a single prize Pokemon. But getting closer, right? Victor does need to find a prize card onto a Slitherwing or onto a Rotom, and then 2 big knockouts. His hand is not as big as it used to be. If he commits to recovering the Fezandipiti to build up the hand, that could actually be very problematic and game-ending as well. So Giussiani applying all the pressure in the right way.
I like it, as looks like Lily's going to be the supporter of choice. Don't forget, the Bloodmoon is still on the board, and the Teal Mask Ogerpon with all the damage is also still on the field. Maybe there is a way to take a knockout on the Teal Dance and then just spread damage onto the Slitherwing. It's not like the Slitherwing can attack again, because then it would self-KO, which is something you definitely don't want to do.
Unless it's against Fezandipiti, then you don't mind it too much.
Off the Lily, anything big here?
I mean, found Secret Box, found off the Lunatone draw, found Secret Box, has a Darkness Energy, has plenty of energy, has the Stadium, I do believe I'm seeing it.
That's a counter gain as well, which is activated at the moment. I think maybe just lacking Counter Catcher.
Yeah, I think the big card is like Crispin. Crispin is what you would want to do. Get 2 energies, attach the Dark to one Monkey Dory, attach for turn to the other Monkey Dory. That lets you take this KO and still also take out something else. If we have Counter Catcher access, which we do with the Secret Box, then we are able to take a KO. However, I guess we don't play Counter Catcher. Never mind.
I would have thought a deck that plays something like Counter Gain would also play the other counter card.
Yeah, and a single price deck that doesn't mind going behind. Counter Catcher seems like it would be a pretty important piece, but it's not in here, and therefore it's either boss or we attack into whatever ends up being promoted.
Yeah, I mean, Soul Rock still is set up there on the bench. Does have that fighting energy. Very cheap attacker, and should be enough to take a knockout here on the Slitherwing at the very least.
Okay, so Victor does have access to Crispin, but there's only 2 dark energy left in the deck. Therefore, he can't Crispin for 2 dark energy. He has to get different types in order to get the bonus attachment effect. You can Crispin for 1 darkness energy, but that goes to the hand. It doesn't go to the field. So he can't use double Monkey Dory this turn. That means he can't KO the Slitherwing this turn. However, the energy switch does open up that double Monkey Dory usage here.
Double Monkey Dory moving, just enough damage to take a knockout on the Slitherwing. From there, though, Giussiani could still promote something that could take a hit with no damage yet on the board. But hey, taking a knockout mid-turn, always a good strategy.
For sure.
As was it Arvin for the energy retrieval now?
Seems like it, yep. So we'll have to see how Victor pieces this out. It's definitely a lot closer than the previous match, I want to say. Giussiani getting that knockout, or Victor being forced to play down the Fezandipiti, Giussiani being able to take that out immediately. The Stadium does get countered, so now Giussiani has to discard something. She immediately discards the Noctowl. I mean, it's fair. You definitely value the attacker. There's a lot of energies invested into this Teal Mask Ogerpon. I feel like this would be the better discard, though, just because that has less HP, and it can't get KO'd, even if it doesn't have any damage counters on it, from their Ursaluna, whereas Noctowl cannot be KO'd, right? So we'll see how it plays out here, if that ends up being a little costly or whatnot. We're about to see the Monkey Dory usage, though. We're going to Adrenabrain, 3 to the active, 10 HP left, or 20 HP left, pardon me. Then we're going to Energy Switch, use another Adrenabrain in order to knock out the active, and now it's on Giussiani to promote something in order to withstand the heat, right? So we're not attacking quite yet. Victor also not playing the counter game just yet to not show that he is ready to attack. Giussiani has information that the energy has been attached, energy switch has been played. No, and promotes the roads on the one Pokemon that can't get KO'd with no damage counters on it.
Ooh, that seemed tough. That is a free prize card now for Victor. I know you mentioned it earlier. Giussiani was able to buy a turn, and now we just gave up. that turn, unfortunately. Solrock is going to be promoted there. Again, maybe another downside of... Oh no, there's another Noctowl as well.
I didn't even realize Tam has been called. I did not see that. So we're in turn 0, and Victor took 2 prizes. Juzini has 1 turn to take 3 prizes against a single prize board. It's a tie.
Just like that. Unfortunately, again, impossible board state to win. And with both players at 1-1, hey, that's a tie.
Yeah, that's a tie. Both players advanced to day 2. They already secured their spot in day 2. They finished the day with a 5-1-2 record. Not too bad at all.
Yeah, I'm sure GCNE is happy to walk away with that tie. Such a tough matchup to really maneuver. I feel like the Bloodmoon Ursaluna deck is built